What is going on, my fellow nerds? Operator Otter here, and today we're going to be talking about this situation where I was pulling in 18.54 divs per hour with this strategy. Spoiler alert, it's not a new strategy. This is the same strategy the content creators have been breathing down your neck for the 3 days. This is just the same word from a different horse's mouth. Now, if you are an elite player, you don't really need to watch the rest of the video. Here's the Excel document. Look over it, pause it. There you go. Like, I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, right? What I do want to say to the elite players is, like, they're going to notice, like, hey, you got a Calandras and a Sinestral here, which are worth quite a bit, and if you took those out, all of a sudden your profit per hour doesn't really become that great. I understand you, but like, here's the thing. I've done this over the last 2 days, probably 8 to 10 hours worth of farming over the weekend, and like, I'm telling you, this happens every 20 runs. Like, it's insane. You're gonna get a drop. Like, it's some big drop that happens once every 10 runs, whether it be like a perfect chaos orb, a perfect exalted orb, you know, a really big unique drop, an omen in your ritual, like whatever, like for whatever reason, it's just dropping really good stuff. So that's the only thing I'll say there. If you are a new player, we're gonna be going over a lot in this video. The chapters will be in the timeline below and you can look, but we're gonna be talking about the Waystone tablet strategy, what's mathematically happening there and why it's working out the best. As well, I'm gonna show you how to actually create those Waystones. And we're going to talk about Desecrations and the Desecration tier list. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to go over the tablets and like the investment for the biggest bang for your buck in terms of explaining what's going on with the tablets. And we're going to talk about a calamity strategy, because these calamities, man, look at this. These are selling for almost 2 divs a pop. So when you find a Citadel, if you do the strategy right, it's like a guaranteed 4 to 8 divs like every single time. It's awesome. So yeah, that's going to be the strategy. That's going to be the addendum for the day. So let's start talking about the strategy and actually start talking about how it works, shall we? All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is what should a good Waystone look like? This is a really good Waystone, right? We have the Paranoia Delirium, which is giving us the 45% rare monsters. We used an Omen of Chaotic Rarity to give us 95% rarity on the Waystone, and then we have a pretty good Desecration. But the thing I want to talk about is, why are we creating the Waystones to be this way? Well, the first thing that we need to do is we need to understand what's going on with rare monsters, rarity, and quantity. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Excel sheet here. So what is rare monsters? Essentially, what rare monsters is just how many throws you get when you walk up. So imagine that the map opens up and it says, hey, there's 10 rare monsters on this map. Every single time you kill a rare monster, you're going to get 1 throw of a die. And every rare monster only gives you 1 die. So you go through, you kill all 10 monsters, that means you get 10 die throw, right? Okay, now from here, quantity says how many dice are thrown per throw, right? So if you have 100% quantity, when you kill that rare monster, instead of you getting to throw 1 die, now you get to throw 2, right? So if you kill all 10, but you got 2 per, that means you're throwing a total of 20, right? But with rare monsters, if you get 100% rare monsters, that means you have 20 rare monsters on the map. You kill all 20, they each drop 1 die. That means you got 20 dice throws. Does that kind of make sense? Like, that's kind of what's happening with rare monsters and quant, where they're kind of working the same way, right? And so what I want to do is kind of show that right here, right? So here's the one. Here's rare monsters. There are 10. That equals your die throw. I gave myself 100% rare monsters. That means the total rare monsters is 20, which means I get to throw the die 20 times because each rare monster throws 1 die. In this situation, I have 10 rare monsters again, but I don't have any rare monsters. I have 100% quantity, and that means that there's only 10 rare monsters, but every single time I kill one, I get to throw 2 die, which is just 20 die throws. So you see how they're the same? Now, this isn't exactly what's happening mathematically, but it's very, very close. Quantity is still better than rare monsters, but not by much, right? And the question I have is, which stat is easier to increase? And it's 100% rare monsters. You can get, like, through the game in terms of the Waystones or the tablets or Delirium and stuff like that, like, you can get a lot of rare monsters on your map. And so that's why increasing the amount of rare monsters is so powerful, because it's kind of this pseudo form of quantity to your map. And then for rarity, what does rarity mean? It just means how loaded the dice are. So your chances of rolling a 1, 2, or 3 decrease, and your chances of rolling a 4, 5, or 6 increase. And that's essentially how all 3 of these stats are working. Okay, so now that we understand how rare monsters, quantity, and rarity work, the next question that we have to ask ourselves is, are there any diminishing returns on them when it comes to our maps or our gear? And for that, we're going to go to Kriparian's video that just released a week ago, as well as shouting out Farham and his info, and then the dev update that we got. So the TLDR to this is that you have diminishing returns on your gear after 150% rarity. So you want to go for 150% rarity in your gear, and then when it comes to rarity on the maps, they are linear, and then rare monsters is linear, and quantity is linear, but we've already discussed that we can get more bang for our buck with rare monsters and quant, so we're going to go for that. So really what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our rarity on our maps and our rare monsters on our maps as high as possible, but we have the option of choosing one or the other for our Waystones and for our tablets. And so, like, what are we trying to do here in terms of getting them to multiply across each other to get the greatest value? And so for this, we're going to go to a concept that's kind of like this little matrix thing here. So we're going to play a game, right? You have 10 points that you can allocate in your stuff. You can put 9 points into rarity, but that means you must put 1 point into rare monsters. You can put 9 points into rare monsters, but that means you must put 1 point into rarity. And as you do this, you find out that really the best option is actually equal. If you put 5 points into rare monsters and 5 points into rarity, this is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. So really what you're trying to do is you're trying to create like these equal levels of rarity and rare monsters between your maps and your waystones as high as possible, so that when they multiply across each other, you get a really good value. But that's not always the case when we're talking about waystones, because what happens here is that if you look at the waystone, you can see that I'm getting 95% rarity on the waystone. But if I go for chaotic monsters, you see I only get 43% rare monsters. If I was able to get 93% on rare monsters here, then you can run one or the other, it doesn't really matter. But because we're getting so much less rare monsters from the waystone here, then really the better one to run is rarity, because that just gives us the bigger bang for our buck. And when it comes to tablets, if we look at rare monsters, you can see that we can actually get up to 40%. But if we do rarity on our tablets, you can see that the highest that we get is only 30%. Huh, okay, so this means that we want to go for full-blown rare monsters in our maps and full-blown rarity on our waystones, right? Not quite. And the reason being is because we have the paranoia that's giving us the rare monsters on our map rather than rarity. And so that means that the waystone isn't really all that crazy bloated with rarity, but you can super bloat with rare monsters. So what is actually kind of like the best option? Well, this is where we're going to go back to our Excel. And the best option right here is, here are the combos, right? The average rarity of a waystone is going to be about 90% with a desecration. You can see that if I put 3 tablets with rarity, this is going to be my total rarity. And then here's my paranoia delirium on the waystone, which gives me 45%. And if I put 3 tablets, then this is going to be my total rarity. And what happens here is that we're going to multiply this value and this value, or this value and this value, or this value and this value. And what we see is combo 3 right here. This is the best one. So if we run 2 tablets of rare monsters and 1 tablet of rarity, we get the biggest bang for our buck, which is why this theoretically best waystone tablet combination is the waystone is rarity, the tablet has rarity, and then 2 and 3 tablet has rare monsters. So that's the combination that's happening there, and that's why we're running it the way that we are. All right, cool. So now we understand what the best combination of waystones and tablets are, but we need to create that waystone. So how do we do that? So here is your common waystone. What do we need to do with this? Well, the first thing that we need to do is we need to regal it. So let's go ahead and do that. We have 3, we want to go for 5, so I'm going to do 2 exalteds. This way I have 5 modifiers right there. We're going to right click our chaotic rarity. We are now going to chaos orbit. We're then going to click our paranoia. We'll put that in, do our 3 paranoias, and then we will desecrate it. Boom, there it is. That's the waystone. Done. Right? So yes, it does take a little bit of time, but it's really not that bad. And I'm going to show you how to do this in mass. So when you're doing this in mass, make sure that you have like 600 to 1,000 exalted orbs, which is pretty easy. You just like 1 divine orb right now is like 570 exalteds or something like that. So you just like sell 1 divine orb, you'll create a bunch of exalteds. And then from here, I'm going to show you, I'm literally have these 10 waystones right here. And I am just going to create these 10 waystones into that type that I want right from the get-go, starting time now. There you go. Done. It took me 2 minutes to literally go from a standard waystone to buying everything and then pumping them up exactly the way that I want to. And now we're going to go to the desecration well, and then we're going to talk about our desecration tier list and what we're going to be going for and why we're going for those things. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are here at the well, and we are going to desecrate all of our waystones. We need to know which ones are going to be the better ones. Now, if you want to know exactly what effects are going on, this will be in a link in the description below. This will tell you what each of these desecrations are going to do to the waystone, and from here, we're going to go here and talk about these ones. So this is the tier list that I have. This is like an anecdotal tier list. This isn't perfect. This isn't like mathematically super correct. This is just like, yo, this is what I've been feeling over like the 600 maps I have ran, and I'm at like, this is what's going on. So for your S tier, natural rare monsters having 1 additional modifier. This also gives 25% rarity to the map This is cracked. I don't know what's going on, but like the monsters having one more modifier really does make that much of a difference of what they can drop, and it is legitimately going to give you more loot than if you have an abyssal map. It's insane. I don't know what's going on with it, but that is the most wild thing. If you can get this modifier on a natural abyssal ran map, oh my god, oh my, yeah, you're gonna get like 5 divines from that map. So enjoy. Next one is going to be Players Marked for Death. This is going to give you 40% rarity and 10% to the pack size, so very good. From here, you're going to have the Abyssal Pits being able to spawn a bunch. This is going to give you more rare monsters, essentially. That's why we're doing it, because there's so many pits. But it'll also increase your pack size by 10%. From here, you're going to go to an A tier. This is going to give you item rarity, and then the Abyss Pits always having rewards is also going to give you rare monsters and magic monsters. So it just increases the amount of rare monsters you're getting. From here, you can do this one with the Abyssal Boss. This is going to give you rarity. And then the one that's going to be leading down to the Abyssal Depths is also going to be giving you rarity. And then the natural monsters in an area being used in Souls of the Boss is going to give you 50% rare monsters, which is super strong, but you're going to have to deal with the map boss, and the map boss is going to be very, very tanky. So if you have like an elite level build, I'd actually like upgrade this into the air tier, but you need to be able to take out the map boss. From there, it's pretty much anything else. So that's basically what we're going for. So now what we're going to do is we're kind of going to do an example. So we go through here, put that there, reveal, bam, that one's just right there. That one's the best, so we'll go ahead and take that. And we'll show you how fast this can be if you're doing it quickly and you know what you're looking for. So the first one's going to be the slow one. From here, we can just put the rest in. We reveal, that one's going to be the best. Here, these are good. So like this is actually a good one because both of these are kind of the same. I would actually go for this one, having the 3 additional pits. The Abyssal Depths hasn't really been netting me out, and they both kind of give the same reward. So I would go for that. And then from here, last one, and it's going to be this one because I can handle this. If you can't handle the map boss one, then you're going to go for Grasping Vein. But because my build can handle the map boss one, I'm going to go for that. And there you go. You're done. Like, okay, your Waystones are done. It takes you, in total to create 10 maps and get ready to go through this. It takes you, what, 2 to 3 minutes if you know what you're doing and you know what you're looking for and you have practice. If it's your first time, it's probably going to take you 10 minutes to do. That's okay, but the more practice you get, the faster you'll get at it. And yeah, that's how we basically soup up our Waystone. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to acquire your tablets and what's the strategy for that. For the best thing for me, it's been a breach with rarity 29%, density of monsters 9%, rare monsters 39%, density 9%, and then irradiated just rare monsters 39%. Now, why am I going for rarity 29% and density 9% when perfect is 30%, 10%? Well, let's talk about that. So if I go up here and I type in a breach precursor map and I go here and I go rarity of items found in my map and then density, and I put 30 and 10 because that's the perfect one. You can see that these are worth a divine orb. This one just drops, it's going to sell immediately, but these are worth about a divine orb. Okay, now if I lower it by just 1%, now they're worth an annulment. Yeah, I don't know what to say, dude. It's 1/4 of the cost for 1% less. Like, value in this game is so fake. And then if I go here and I type in the rare monsters, this one's going to be a little bit more, but if I type in the perfect one, they're going to be 2 divines. If I type in 1% less, 5 annulments. Half the cost for 1% less. I don't know what to tell you. That's just the way it is. And then for the rare monsters with just the regular precursor tablet, it's going to be 2 annulments. Bam, there you go. And that's essentially what you're going for, because if you go for the perfect, now it's 4 annulments. It's double the cost. Like, it doesn't make sense, but that's just the way it is. So yeah, just go for 1% less. You're going to save a lot on your investment costs, and you're still going to get a lot of bang for your buck. So that's the strategy for acquiring your tablets. So the last strategy that we're going to talk before I let you go is going to be a Citadel strategy. So if you go to your map and you see these little blue lines right here, these are going to be your Citadels. When you kill the boss, they have a chance that they are going to drop these Calamity Fragments. These Calamity Fragments sell for a lot. As you can see, this is just a div orb, but if I put in a secondary, they sell for 1.4. If I turn in the primaries, they sell for 1.7. These are very, very valuable, but they drop based on Waystone drop chance. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to pump our map to have the most Waystone drop chance that we can. Now, there's no omen that we can do to really increase that. They're just going to have the same Waystone drop chance. So I would just go for rarity. If you want, you can go for pack size, you can go for rare monsters. It doesn't really matter, okay? But what you need to do is you need to put in Envy as your delirium, because as you can see here, now you have a 90% increased chance for Waystones to be found in the area, which is going to be very powerful. That's the first thing that you're going to do. The second thing is we're going to talk about our tablets. The tablet that you're going to want is you're going to want to do a ×3 precursor tablet with quantity of items found in your map and quantity of waystones in your map. Now, if you do the 949, they're only 2 annulments, but if you go for the perfect one, it's not too much more expensive, but it's up to you. It's going to be 4 annulments, it's double. But I would just go for the 949 because I just, biggest bang for my buck. And I just buy a couple of these, and this will last you for 10 of those citadels. The last thing is going to be the actual desecration that we're going to be talking about. And for the desecrations, the area has patches of mana siphoning ground is going to give you 35%. Monsters inflicting grasping veins is going to give you 30%. And then really anything else, they kind of split in half and half between 25% and 20%. And I couldn't really be bothered to list out all the ones that give you 25% and all the ones that give you 20%. But really, these are the two that you're really looking for if you can grab them, because that'll give you the most Waystone drop chance. And when you do that and you go into your maps, your Waystone drop chance is going to be like plus 700%. And then you also have a bunch of quantity that's going to be on that map as well because of the tablets that you have. And yeah, you're going to drop a lot of those fragments, and that's just going to be a lot of divs. So enjoy that. That's a cool strategy. And yeah, that's that. So that's kind of all I have for you when it comes to this strategy. I hope that's just an educational video. Like I said, I know it's nothing new. I know a lot of content creators have already covered it, but I just wanted to cover it and let you guys know from my head how I'm thinking about it and why I'm thinking about it the way I am. And if you were able to pick up and understand it a little bit better, then great. If you weren't, sorry. I did my best. And that's that. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. I have nothing else for you. Operator Otter, out.